session to move us forward in our development and to, in fact, get us on the path of accelerated growth.
Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun suggested special focus on e-commerce and industry with creation of enabling environment for industries. They are corroborated by the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enalama.
Yes, as we focus on these sectors through the introduction of various public policies targeted at social economic empowerment, employment generation, social safety net and poverty alleviation.
The meeting is a 4-day event expected to come to a close on Thursday in Abeokuta. Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
Back in Abuja, the National Population Commission says a successful execution of its mandate largely depends on sustained commitment, cooperation and support of key stakeholders, as well as adequate and timely release of funds. Chairman of the Commission, Ezeduri Heoma, made this known while receiving the Senate Committee on National Identity Cards and National Population Commission in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
The visit created a platform to identify challenges bedeviling the Commission and brainstorm on ways of preferring solutions and moving forward. Chairman, National Population Commission, Ezeduru Heoma, says despite inadequate funding, the Commission is adopting measures to ensure the era of controversial and contentious censuses is over with a clear vision, organizational strength, cutting-edge technology and professional expertise to make Nigeria's population the broad platform for its greatness.
We look forward to the Senate Committee to ensure that required legislations on the next census are passed and passed in good time.
Chairman, Senate Committee on National Identity Cards and National Population Commission, Suleiman Hankoyi, said creating an interface to have a deeper understanding and relationship will go a long way towards repositioning the Commission.
Underscore how the legislature view these bills, the importance of these bills to them. They did not look at those bills until the dying minutes.
The legislature can begin to become proactive by looking at the mischief in existing law, and on the basis of that mischief, they begin to plug the gaps and loopholes in the laws.
We find today a situation where an institution of government that is empowered by law to expose and fight corruption is in itself embroiled in corruption.
The guests blamed the lukewarm attitude of the legislature in the fight against corruption on the nation's political system, which has a major influence in their decision-making. To strengthen the legislature, the guests suggested a minimum qualification of second-class degree for contesting election into the legislature, pointing out that this will greatly impact on an understanding of what is expected of them as legislators, instead of having them as mere rubber stamp.
Almost 15% of those who are in the legislature, in the Senate in particular, are former chief executive of states who have corruption cases against them. The zeal to fight corruption, your guess is as good as mine.
Also, the Freedom of Information Act should be implemented to the letter, because if it is implemented to the letter, there will be a lot of transparency.
It is difficult to imagine how somebody with a school certificate can understand the laws of the land and the Constitution, interpret it and work with it. It's a basic problem.
They called on members of the legislature at both federal and state levels to make national interest their priority. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
As Nigerians continue to react to the arrest of the judiciary officers for alleged corrupt practices, the Forum for Non-Governmental Organizations wants discerning minds to be guided by constitutional provisions establishing the Department of State Services and immunity for public officers. This is the view of the group in their campaign tagged War Against Corruption, No Untouchables, as reported by Joseph Arok.
According to the forum, the Department of State Services acted constitutionally in line with Section 2, Sub 3C of Presidential Proclamation Instruments of 1990.
applicants into the Federal Civil Service. The chairman of the Federal Civil Service Commission, John Olatoyosiayo, is appeared before the House Committee on Public Service Matters. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegloye reports that this followed a motion moved on the floor of the House for an urgent probe into the matter.
It goes off and they can't get access. So I was wondering, how can...
Our first port of call as we join Abdullahi for more reports on Nationwide. Hello there, Abdullahi. It's over.
Good to see you, Ranki, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. Paying adequate attention to the needs of internally displaced persons and integrating healthcare facilities in the camps will significantly reduce disability and premature death among IDPs in Nigeria. This was the general consensus of stakeholders at a symposium in Lagos with the theme Plight of the IDPs in Nigeria, the Way Forward. Annie Daniels report that the symposium was organized by the United Nations Association of Nigeria in collaboration with the United Nations Information Center in Lagos.
Available statistics reveal that over 2 million Nigerians are presently displaced. This is majorly due to the activities of the Boko Haram insurgents in the northeastern part of Nigeria. This has also translated to the establishment of internally displaced persons camps across the country. Resource persons at this symposium applauded the federal government's efforts at catering to the needs of the IDPs, and of recent, the release of more of the abducted Chibok girls. They, however, say that more needs to be done, especially in the area of healthcare, rehabilitation, as well as prompt and adequate response.
We are so concerned in the sense that these children are being deprived of education and they are being moved to unknown places.
You'll be surprised that how many of them you smoke in the camp. So even bring awareness to them.
And top officials from the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development said the state government will not go back on its resolve to establish zero tolerance for all structures and properties built under high-tension cables.
We believe that there exists flagrant disobedience of building regulations in the state, and the government has therefore resolved to ensure the removal of all structures that are in contravention of the law.
Ilubirin site was reclaimed about 10 years ago by the administration of Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the fishermen there then were resettled at Badore. So the people that were
also exploring ways of improving their well-being.
Nearly 3 in 10 Nigerian women have experienced physical violence since age 15. Furthermore, according to the same source, 1 in 4 married women experience physical, sexual, or emotional abuse by their husband.
She explained that a Wuro project was established in 2014 to highlight the anomaly and evoke public discourse on ways of eliminating violence and discrimination against women using the arts, music, drama, and poetry to engage the audience and reawaken the minds of Nigerians to the true plight of the Nigerian woman.
From the findings on the survey conducted in Lagos State in collaboration,
he inspected projects in the command. The commander, NNS Jubilee, Commodore Saidu Gaba, conducted the Chief of Naval Staff around various departments. At the NNS Jubilee Sick Bay, the visitor laid foundation stone of the second wing where he pledged the support of the Navy headquarters to complete the project on or before December 2016. The Chief of Naval Staff was also at the proposed Navy Falcon I project jetty, where he was briefed and inspected some operational gunboats.
I've only urged them to keep up the good works so that we can free the area of criminalities and enable...
Since 1960, emphasized the importance of checking illegal weapon transfer, small arms and light weapon proliferation, just as the Director General, NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, represented by the Executive Director News, Shola Atere, spoke on the role of the media in ensuring national security.
In the course of this presentation, I intend to provide highlights of what we have done in the past,
what we will do in future, some issues we are contending with, and solutions we believe would address these issues.
We pursue commercial interest quite all right, or competition, but we cannot allow that to becloud our responsibility towards national security. Because when you protect...
The symposium on Nigeria's fallen heroes in Abuja has rekindled interest in the families of veterans and Nigerians who paid the supreme price defending their fatherland. Olajide Bello reports that the event urged Nigerians to always consider the plight of those they left behind as a way of deepening patriotism.
They are remembered annually on the 15th of January, known as Armed Forces Remembrance Day, when fallen heroes and veterans who paid the ultimate price are celebrated. Aside from being embedded in the national anthem, are their labor sustained and not in vain? This informed the Nigerian Fallen Heroes Symposium with the theme, Our Fallen Heroes, Their Sacrifices, Challenges and Our Responsibilities.
No society can function and thrive if the pain and
malaria accounts for about 40% of deaths in Nigeria and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The recent outbreak of typhoid and malaria in Kaduna State has become a source of concern to many.
We have been here since because a lot of patients are here. It's not easy. Truly, it's not easy.
Investigation shows that over 300 people have tested positive to typhoid and malaria infection in the last 7 days in 2 major hospitals in Kaduna metropolis.
Because once you run the two tests for malaria and typhoid, you discover that the patient will carry the two infections at the same time. So they have multiple infections, both malaria and typhoid.
Acceptable, hence the need for the pedestrian bridge. Performing the foundation stone laying of the bridge, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, represented by the former Secretary of the Federation, Mahmoud Yael Ahmad, said if completed, the bridge will ease traffic congestion and reduce loss of lives of...
Based on intelligence report after a gun duel.
The offset of kidnappers, we have in place proactive measures to enable us to at least checkmate the activities of these hoodlums.
He said while some of the kidnappers escaped to the thick forest, some hostages that were taken captives numbering 12 were freed. Items recovered from the suspects include one AK-47.
Commitments made during the Anti-Corruption Summit in London earlier this year.
Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, who stood in for the governor, Bala Barnabas, said such action plan is desirable towards prevention of corruption.
Our government believes that the governance standards embodied in the open government partnership are very helpful in advancing the implementation of transparent and results-oriented government.
The retreat focuses on improving government's transparency and accountability, which was formally launched in 2011 but became operational July 2016 in Nigeria. In attendance were civil society organizations, anti-graft agencies, among other government establishments, and foreign delegate partners in Kaduna. Garib Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
And with that report, it's back to you, Ronke, for more on the Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Moving on now, the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, Yakubu Ibu Mohammed, has promised to give the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons all necessary support to actualize its mandate of returning displaced persons to their respective homes. This was on a visit on synergy between the two agencies. Ifeanyi Ezumba has that report.
The visit is to solicit support from the NTA in sharing the concerns of President Muhammadu Buhari and resettling victims of insurgency into normal life. The Federal Commissioner for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Sadiya Omar Farouk, who is new on board, assured her host that it will not be business as usual to shortchange the affected.
We are here to discharge our duties diligently and live up to the expectations of Nigerians.
NTA Director General Yakubu Ibn Muhammad stressed the organization's forward-looking approach as a responsible one committed to public matter. He explained a theme from the Northeast is expected back
for dry season farming.
WAP, in collaboration with FIRU, has commenced a process that I believe will lead to massive creation of employment in Nigeria in the nearest future. And very soon we shall begin to see the products of the trainees on this program in the market, not only in Nigeria, but also in the international markets.
Over 900,000 farming communities recently returned home, according to statistics of the National Emergency Management Agency. In Yola, Adamawa State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
We'll now take a short break to be back with more reports on Nationwide. Do stay with us.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
The National Health Insurance Scheme and
The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, invites state commissioners, permanent secretaries and directors of information and all other stakeholders in the information sector to the 46th National Council on Information with the theme, Leveraging on Information and Digital Technology to Sustain the Change Agenda of Government. Chief host, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, Governor of Delta State. Venue,
Network International and Star Times. It's absolutely bombastic.
Over and out. The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
Our latest edition of TV Guide is out. This edition of your favorite magazine will simply blow your mind. The package is loaded and our offering is quite illuminating. NTA has a new
and mounting of train the trainers workshops.
Members of the committee asked the center to furnish its secretariat with more information to be able to look into its challenges with a view to addressing them. In Abuja, Abdullahi Musa Sleja.
Constituency Benue State, Igli Johnson, who we said the empowerment tools will add value to the lives of the beneficiaries. More than 100 women, including 57 who successfully completed training in computer, hairdressing, fashion design, and food processing, were given equipment worth millions of naira to begin their trade. In Utku, Comfort Amadu, NTA News.
The 3-day training for Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS meant to impact scientific and sophisticated skills to meet up with new security challenges has been rounded off in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Assistant Inspector General of Police of the zone, Agbola Oshodi Glover, says the trainees are now equipped to tackle security issues more effectively. Charles Abba reports.
The 3-day training of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigeria Police Force, which is to enhance their operational capacity, is in compliance with the directive of the Inspector General of Police. The training, which was inaugurated nationwide, had as its contents use of force and handling of firearms, care and custody of suspects, management of crime scene, and community policing, among others. Assistant Inspector General of Police M4 Agbola
that all resources are released promptly and that we continue to look for additional resources and to enable us to mount a robust response. But we are working together.
Professor Adewale commended the Nigerian government, UNICEF, World Health Organization, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, volunteers, and other national and international agencies for their contribution towards ensuring that by 2017 there is no single case of poliomyelitis in Nigeria and Africa. In Abuja, Murjanatu Adam Said, NTA News.
In the meantime, relevant people on the campaign against polio in Nigeria have been urged to remain resolute to the cause until the country is
99.something% in the face of the hard. I and you, we have the belief that it is a doable project.
But what are the measures already in place to contain the recent outbreak of the virus in the country?
We must maintain routine immunization. Even when we do not see any new case anymore, we cannot stop.
There's a working our partners and the Rotarians on backcountry. We're doing rapid response immunization. We're doing the monitoring.
It is believed that with a strong political will and collaboration, Nigeria will be certified polio-free in the next 3 years. Chukwunonsonwa Boeze, NTA News.
Time now for some foreign reports on Global Tidbits with Chimdima Mudubisi.
Artists in South Sudan have launched a public art project to promote peace and unity in a country that has seen violence for 3 years. They are painting walls of schools, bakeries and cultural centers with pictures showing children suffering in the civil war and self-destructive nature of conflicts. The team is collaborating with residents and has plans to extend the project outside the capital. And reports from Kenya say at least 12 people have been killed as local militia attacked a guest house in border town of Mandera that was hosting members of
tournament as feeder for Premier League club sides. Speaking at a press briefing, the interim chairman Ibrahim Musa Gusau says the Super 8 will showcase the talents in the League One, urging coaches across the federation to come and scout.
I'm sure by the little publicity we are going to give the event, and we'll get a lot of fans coming to the fish to watch what we are doing.
The 8 teams that are vying for honors include Enyimba Feeders FC, FRSC FC, Abuja and AS Racing FC in Group A, while Beat the Lions FC, Papilo FC, My People FC and FC Abuja are in Group B. Relief came the way of President International Association of Athletics Federation Sebastian Coe